vocês estão com a... Boa tarde, todo mundo. Sejam todos bem-vindos a mais uma apresentação do EducationUSA, a fonte oficial de informações sobre ensino superior nos Estados Unidos. Nós estamos ligados ao Departamento de Estado americano, estamos aqui para oferecer informações atualizadas e restritas a respeito de universidades, de cursos, do seu interesse em graduação e pós-graduação. Eu me chamo Fernanda, sou orientadora do EducationUSA na PUC-Rio, trabalho também com o programa Oportunidades Acadêmicas Ponte de Talentos, na coordenação, e é um enorme prazer estar aqui com vocês e com o Albion College. Eu tenho aqui a Sarah Egerstedt e a Marcele Colares, que é aluna do Albion College, que fala português, e aí eu vou passar a palavra para elas, é um prazer enorme estar com elas aqui. Se você tiver alguma dúvida, não se preocupe, hoje nós temos o privilégio de ter a Marcele aqui falando português, então as perguntas que vocês fizerem no final, fiquem à vontade. A Marcele vai ajudar vocês, eu também posso ajudar em tudo que vocês precisarem. Essa sessão será gravada e vai estar na nossa página do YouTube, do EducationUSA Brasil, se vocês quiserem indicar para algum colega ou assistir posteriormente. Fiquem sempre ligados na nossa agenda, a gente tem informações bastante interessantes, a maior parte das nossas atividades são gratuitas, muito robustas, com muita informação para a sua candidatura, para você fazer a melhor candidatura possível, tá? Have a nice session, the floor is yours.
Oi, gente. Então, como ela falou, eu sou a Marcele, eu falo português. Então, a apresentação vai ser toda em inglês, mas no final, se vocês tiverem vergonha, se vocês quiserem perguntar em português ao invés de inglês, sintam-se à vontade. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everybody. My name is Sarah. I'm the Associate Director of International Recruitment at Albion College, which means that I work with international students who are interested in studying at Albion. I help them with every step of the enrollment process, from learning about Albion, walking them through the application, helping them with their student visa processing, all the way up into orientation and arriving on campus. So I'm so glad that you guys could join us today.
So my name is Marcel. I am a second-year student here at Albion. I'll be a third year next fall. I am a geology major, but I also work with Sarah on helping new international students apply and help them get to know Albion. So we're here, and today we're going to talk about how to feel like you belong at a liberal arts college in the USA.
So I'm going to share my screen, so hopefully you guys will be able to see it. Let me know if not, shoot something into the chat. Okay, well, preview there.
I'll be looking at the chat, So
we just, like we said, we wanted to go over some things to kind of help you guys feel like you can gain a sense of belonging, because I know as an international student who's thinking about coming to the United States, you very well could be the only person. I think you are the only one from Brazil on our campus. So, you might not, especially at a smaller campus, like a small private liberal arts school, there might not be a lot of other people from your home country. And so we wanted to give you guys some tips and tricks and some advice for how to find a sense of belonging on your campus. So some of the things that we're going to touch on that we think are really helpful for you would be talking about getting involved in campus activities. That can be super essential. Finding out what belonging really means to your campus specifically. Building relationships with your faculty and staff on campus. They're great resources for you. Talking about how you can find your place academically as well, because there is a lot of choices for you guys. Talk about what kind of campus support there is on different on campus for international students, and then just some tips for application. And then at the end, we were happy to take any of your guys' questions as well.
So one of the really good ways to get involved on campus and to feel like you belong is through campus organizations. Liberal arts colleges tend to have lots of them. And in Albion, we actually have more than 100. So we have academic organizations, like I am part of the geology club because I'm a geology major, but there is the math club, there is the investing club. There are other types of organizations like community service, media, religious, sports, Greek life. So we have lots of options. It's kind of impossible that you don't fit into one of them. I am part of 5 organizations right now, and that's really typical for students here. We are really involved, and for international students, it's essential. because that's the way you get to meet new people, you get to meet Americans, and you also get closer to the international community. So for diversity organizations, we have ISU, which I was the president till last year. So I'm really excited about that. And basically, ISU is a way for international students to be together during the week. We have weekly meetings, and these meetings have the goal to just bring students together, and it's good for us to get to know other cultures. So we had students present about their countries. We had dinners. We love that. We had big events like the Asian New Year. It was a really, really big event. We also have the Organization for Latinos, which is a really big one here on campus. We have the Black Student Organization, and we have the Asian Organization. Another good thing about Albion is that if you get here and you want to create a new organization, you can also do that. So if for some reason, I don't think it would happen, but you say, no, I don't fit into any of these groups, you can just create your own. So that's also really fun. And another thing that is unique to Albion is the Global House. The Global House is, that's me in the picture. The Global House is this house right there. And basically, 9 international students live together in this house. We have people from 6 different countries next fall, but that always changes. And it's basically a place for students to hang out and to feel like they are always welcome. So, for example, for Thanksgiving break, American students usually go home, and we have no place to go. So we have Thanksgiving meals in this house, and we do our own celebration. So that's really good. So we don't feel like left alone. And we feel like we create this really close relationship, not just to other international students, but also to out-of-state students and to professors who stay on campus.
So another thing that we touched on was just a sense of belonging. And so I feel like you're going to hear a lot of words about, a lot of discussion and talk about diversity, equity, inclusion. That's been a really big part of the dialogue, I think, globally, and definitely in the United States in the past couple years. And so I think it's important to know not just how your campus prioritizes belonging, but what does that really look like on your campus? And don't be afraid to ask these types of questions. Like at Albion, for example, we have a whole office, administrative office dedicated to belonging called the Office of Belonging, and they focus on diversity, equity, inclusion, and prioritizing that. We also have an initiative called the Blueprint for Belonging, which is where every department on our campus has done a deep dive into inherent bias and ways that we can improve our everyday activities to make them more inclusive, to make our campus more diverse and more welcoming. We have a coordinator on our campus who is designated to address any Title IX issues, which is discrimination based on your gender. So we have someone that's constantly, a resource for you there. We also have a whole bias reporting system. So if you ever see any bias or you're noticing anything on our campus, you have a system to report that so that someone is made aware and that some action can be taken against it. So like I said, I think, you'll hear a lot of these buzzwords, buzzing around campus, but I think it's important to just take that next step and really see what that looks like in action on your campus, because it's very easy to say, yes, we prioritize diversity, but you have to see how they take it another step and see if they can really kind of talk the talk.
So a really good thing about small colleges, especially liberal arts colleges, is that we have a small campus, so we have a really close connection to staff, to faculty, so like professors, people who work here, and you basically know everyone on campus. Even if you're not close to them, you always see them around, so you think like, I know this person. So you never feel lonely because you know everyone, and if you have any problems, you can always contact them, and these people will be good for you, and you know, these people will always be open for your problems, for your issues. And it's also really good if you want to apply to jobs or you want to apply to grad school, because you'll be in a place where people really know you. So they will be able to give you really good advice. And it also, it creates a really good sense of community, because we are in small, Albion is in a small city and it's a small campus. So everyone knows everyone, and everyone, it feels like a family. So I think this is a really important distinction about going to a big school or choosing to go to a small school, especially for international students, because I feel like in Brazil, when we apply to study abroad, we have this whole idea of, oh, if I apply to a big school, I'll have a much better experience. And it's not always like that. Because if you feel like you want to go somewhere where you really feel like you're part of the community, you may want to consider applying to a liberal arts small college.
The other thing that really can help with making you feel like you have a sense of belonging on your new campus is finding your place academically. It's definitely your number one goal when you're pursuing your college degree. So one piece of advice that I always like to give the students that I work with is to find what you're passionate about and follow it. These two pictures that we put on here are two Albion students. One was in the arts, one was in the sciences, very different interests, but they were passionate about what they were learning. They enjoyed what they were doing. And following that. And our faculty here are really fantastic about helping you guys figure out how you can blend your passion with an academic program. And it'll just make your experience so much more fun and you'll really be engaged. And I think it's always a good thing to ask for help when you need it, and ask early. Don't wait until it's the end of a class and the semester's about to end and your finals are happening. And then you're like, wait, I've been drowning this whole time. Definitely don't hesitate to ask for help, and ask early. They really want to be there for you. The faculty want to help you succeed. They want to see you be successful, and they're here to help you. So I feel like it's always a good thing that I know sometimes coming out of secondary school, it's a little, relationships with teachers aren't necessarily quite as personal, but at Albion and at small schools like that, they really prioritize those personal relationships. Another thing that I think is really great to help you really find a sense of belonging is to dive into any like supplemental experiences that you guys are offered. A lot of colleges sometimes will offer research opportunities, maybe some internship experiences, maybe doing some job shadowing. These are all things that we offer to our students at Albion, and they really benefit from it because they're taking all the information that they're learning in the classroom, which is super essential, but then they're able to apply it to a real world situation. They're able to really see how all the things that they're learning in the classroom play out in the real world. And it's really good resume builders for you guys too. So when you're graduating and you have not only your degree, but you have some real world work experience to go with it, that just looks really impressive as well. I always encourage students to be an active participant in the classroom. And like Marcel kind of mentioned, like if you're at a small school, this is definitely, I think, more significant versus at a larger university where you might be one of 700 people in the class, then you might not be able to be as active. But like at a school the size of Albion, our class sizes are around 16 students in a class on average. And that's even probably one of our bigger classes. So it's a very intimate classroom setting. You know your professors really well, and they expect a lot from you. They want you to be engaging. They don't want to just lecture at you the whole time. They want to hear your thoughts, and they want to know your perspectives about things. And then also be sure to talk to your professors outside of class. They usually have office hours that are open, so they're very available to you to talk about academic things or things that you're struggling with outside of the classroom. They're a good support system for you, and they can usually help you with networking with other opportunities as well, especially I would say into your your junior, senior year, when you're kind of looking at maybe a career move or a graduate school program. They are really good resources for you guys to be able to tap into and use that network. So definitely utilize them. Another one that I think is really essential is that there's support built in for international students on every campus. I've put this picture here of Kristen and Mary. They are the two staff at our Center for International Education. That is our office that has our PDSO and our DSOs on campus. So every CVIP certified school has to have at least one DSO, if there might be more. And these are staff members who are dedicated to assisting and overseeing the F1 students on their campus. So every CVIP school that you attend will have one of these on campus. So it's always important to find out who they are and find out what kind of resources they have. And some offices will do more than others, but like our Center for International Education really helps students in terms of orientation. So getting, that transition from your home country to Albion, or just transitioning into college level academics, they do a whole orientation program. They can help you with personal or academic counseling if you need it. They help you with immigration advising to make sure that you're maintaining status when you're here. They can help you with questions about health insurance or filing your taxes if you have some employment while you're in the States. They can help you find jobs on campus if you're looking for some. They can kind of help you handle like school breaks and travel, kind of like Marcel was talking about with Thanksgiving break. So they kind of help you with all those things. So it's just good to know that there are resources built into every campus. So tap into them and look for them and find them, because there are helpers there and they are willing to help you and they're excited to have you there.
So I came up with some tips for an international applicant. I wish someone had told me these tips when I was applying. So the first one is be yourself. Don't try to be a person you're not when you're applying. Try to show the best things about you and the things that are really strong about you. I think this is a really good point, because I see some people saying, oh, maybe I'll write that I do that so they get impressed. They will always know when you don't do that. And when you apply to a college here or to university here, think about belonging. Think like, if I get there, will I be accepted? Will I feel like I'm part of the community? I feel like it's really, really important to think about that. That was one of my thoughts when I was applying to schools here. I thought, if I go to a big school, will I feel like I'm part of the community? Will I feel like I am included? Will I be able to really be a part of the organizations and of my department? And that was one of the reasons why I chose to come to a small school. And work on getting a really personal college list. So like I said in the beginning, don't think just about big schools that are really famous. Also think about schools that have to do with you. So look at their organizations, their clubs, look and see if you can be part of that school and if you can see yourself growing there. Try to talk to international students that are already in that school and ask them about their experience. That was really important for me. I was deciding if I wanted to come here or if I wanted to come somewhere else. And then a student from here came talk to me, and I asked her a million questions. And that was why I made the decision, because I knew this person was here and I know this person was having a really good time. And I know this person felt like she was included. So that was essential for me. And also, never be afraid to ask for help. And you can ask for help from us, from people who work for admissions, or you can ask for help for EducationUSA, your school professors. So don't feel like you're alone, because you're not, and you always have people who can help you.
So we hope that this information has been helpful for you guys. We think that it's some great tips, some things that we've learned along the way. But we also would be happy to answer any of your questions that you guys have, things that maybe came up from some of the stuff we talked about, or questions that you have about belonging on a college campus. And we have the chat too. So if you want to send questions to the chat, we're more than happy to take those.
You can also unmute yourself if you want.
Yeah.
Pessoal, por favor, fiquem à vontade para fazer suas perguntas. Temos o auxílio luxuoso da Marcélia aqui, que pode ajudar vocês em português, se alguém tiver alguma dúvida. Eu achei a apresentação deles excelente, porque falou de assuntos que são mais subjetivos, falou do seu envolvimento no campus. Então, acredito que vocês estejam com a cabecinha borbulhando. Fiquem à vontade para fazer suas perguntas, por favor.
So they asked if Albion College offers scholarships for international students.
Yes, we do offer scholarships for international students. We also have a need-based aid program for international students. So there's two types of financial aid. One is academic scholarships. When you apply to Albion, you're automatically being considered for our academic scholarships, which is kind of nice. So you don't have to fill out any extra applications. It's all being done with just your normal admissions application. If you do get admitted, then we send you your acceptance letter, which is like, yay, you got into Albion. It's always an exciting time. And then we also give you your scholarship information right then. Because your scholarship is a direct reward based on your academic criteria that we saw in your application. It doesn't have anything to do with any other financial information. So you'll know your scholarship right away when you get admitted. And then in addition to that, we have our own form. I know sometimes there's like a CSS profile and some other ways to file for financial aid for international students, but we have our own form at Albion that we use. It's called the Statement of Financial Support. You submit that. It's loaded right into your student portal, which you will have access to when you begin your application. You submit it online. We send that over to our financial aid office, and they review those on a case-by-case basis to see if students qualify for additional financial aid. Most of them do. At Albion, at least, we are a private school, so our sticker price looks kind of high, but our scholarships do a lot to help bring that down. And then the need-based aid helps that even further. So yeah, so it's kind of, a part of the process, and you can work with me along the way to answer any questions that you have. Good question.
Miss you too. So can a student find all necessary information to apply for Albion on the college's website?
Yes, we absolutely can. I will tell you that our website is undergoing a rebranding right now. So some of our links might be a little broken, but the homepage is all fixed up and some of the bigger pages are definitely working. So bear with us as we go through a rebranding of our website. But if you go on albion.edu, that is our website that you can access all sorts of information. There's information about all the things we talked about today, like our student programs, our academic majors, our centers and institutes. There's lots of information on there. And if you're looking to apply, our application will go live August 1st for fall 2022 or spring 2022. So our application can be found on our own website. We have our own Albion application, or Albion also participates in the Common application. If you're not familiar with what the Common app is, it's one application that students can fill out and can actually be sent to multiple schools at one time. So it can be kind of a nice time saver if there are multiple schools that participate in the Common app that you're looking at applying to.
Also, if you go to our website, you can see pictures and you can see a little bit of each international student that is here. So if you want to contact me, or if you want to contact a student from Russia or from whatever, you can also do that through the website.
It looks like Paula had a question about some of our big majors on campus, like some of our more popular majors. Number one would definitely be biology, and that's because we have a lot of pre-med students on our campus. So to pursue medicine in the United States, you have to have your bachelor's degree in a field, and you can choose the field. Biology is very popular. Sometimes they're doing chemistry, but I mean, they can really major in anything. So we have a lot of students that are pursuing medical school and the medical field in general. So biology is a very popular major for us. I would say our next most popular would probably be economics and management. We have a lot of people who are pursuing everything that kind of falls under that umbrella, like finance, accounting, marketing, anything in that business umbrella. That one's very popular as well. Education, psychology, communication, those are some of our bigger majors. But like Marcel said, she was a geology major. I actually was too. I'm an alum from Albion. So you had 2 geology majors here. Definitely not a more popular major on our campus, but very fun, awesome stuff to learn and great faculty. So I think students are happy to know that there's a place for them academically.
You can also check all the majors and minors we offer on the website.
Yes. Did you want to take the rest of this question?
Oh yeah, she said, I wanted to know how the application process for international students work to be eligible for a scholarship.
Yeah. So like I said, the scholarship or the application goes live August 1st. And when you're applying, you're automatically being considered for a scholarship. So that's already done. And then when your need-based application will be available after you get admitted. So that's kind of the timeline where it starts August 1st, and then it just kind of rolls from there for how quickly you're moving through the application process.
A really good thing about Albion too is that usually when you apply to schools, either to the Common App or to their website, they charge you, and you don't have any charges to apply for Albion. So that is really good. You can do that for free.
Yes. The other part of our application that I think is important to point out for international students is that we do have an English proficiency requirement, and we take TOEFL or IELTS test scores. We also accept ACT or SAT scores. And then we also this year started accepting the Duolingo English test scores. So that's another little piece of the application. But I did just put my name and my email address in the chat, and Marcel will too. So if you guys have any other questions, or if you think of anything after the day today, don't hesitate to reach out. We are always happy to connect with you guys and help you out. But if anybody has any other questions, we're happy to take those.
Do we have summer programs, summer courses?
So good question. Albion doesn't offer any official summer classes, which actually I think is kind of nice, because then you have to have your fall semester, which starts in August, your spring semester, which then starts after a little break over the holidays, and that spring semester starts in January. That usually wraps up by the beginning of May, and then we don't have any summer programming in terms of offering courses. What that means for students is that they get opportunities to either travel back to their home country. Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they stay on campus and do research like Marcel is doing right now. I'll let her tell you more about that. Sometimes they're doing internships. Sometimes they're traveling abroad. So it really kind of just is they have their summers to really kind of spend, however they want. And I think the nice thing about that is that you really get refreshed before your next academic year. I thought that was kind of a nice thing to have a little break when I was a student here, that I felt really ready to go when the fall semester started. So do you want to tell them about your summer?
Yeah, so usually during normal semesters, so fall and spring, we have up to 200 classes we can choose from. In the summer, if you really want to take classes, you can, but we usually have 30 to 40 options, so it's a lot less. I am taking classes right now, and I'm also doing research, so it's definitely something you can do, but it's not that popular. Something that is really popular though is the research programs, and if you are into businesses, you have a business summer program that you can attend. So right now I'm doing FIRSTCA. That is our main research type of thing here on campus. And I'm working with a geology professor, but also something that is really interesting is that if you are, for example, a geology major, but you want to do your research about a topic that is not close to geology, you can also do that. So if I wanted to do research about philosophy, even if I am a geology major, I could do that. There's something I think that is really nice, because we are like complex people and we like lots of different things, not only what we are majoring in. So if you want to do that, you can do that. Do you have any suggestion of extracurricular activities that we can do that can be a good thing for your application?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say that really following what you're passionate about is what you should do, and don't get involved in things just because you think it'll look good on a college application. But one thing that we do look for when you're applying is not only the fact that you're involved in things, but also how are you involved, and have you taken any leadership roles? Like maybe you play soccer, but maybe you're also the captain of the soccer team. Maybe you're on the academic team, but maybe you're one of the presidents of the club, that sort of thing. So we like to see not only the fact that you're involved, but that you're doing something with your involvement. I think that schools kind of tend to look at that because it just shows that you're an active participant and not just someone who's like getting involved in lots of things and not really taking the ownership in it. So I think something that I always look for is not just what they're involved in, but how they're involved. Is that stressing the online coursework?
Yeah.
I figured that one out myself. So we did do some online courses during the pandemic, but traditionally we do not offer online courses at Albion. We are primarily residential school, so only all of our students end up living on campus the whole time they're here. Our housing options are quite diverse though. We have standard college dormitories. We also have houses on campus. We also have fraternity houses for men. We've got some apartment style housing. So students do live on campus the whole time that they're here. So yeah, so being a residential school with everyone being on campus, we always have our classes in person. We really like that because it helps you guys really be engaged and you get to know your professors really well and your classmates. So yeah, we did offer online courses briefly, but that was pandemic only, and we're very excited to be back to in-person classes this fall, as I'm sure most students are.
We really value this feeling of everyone knowing everyone, and part of living on campus is because of it. We want to be a community and we want to feel like everyone feels home here. So taking online classes wouldn't be, how can I say it? It doesn't have a lot to do with us. But like during the pandemic, we kind of, yeah, we needed to do that, so we did that. But for the fall, we're planning on not doing that anymore. So how can a student take a SAT exam in Brazil?
Marcel, would you like me to answer this one?
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
That's okay. Aparecida, você tem que entrar no site do College Board, fazer uma busca, College Board SAT, e você vai poder ver as datas. Você tem que procurar em International, tá? Porque são datas diferentes e específicas para os alunos que não estão nos Estados Unidos. Tem algumas datas já para o segundo semestre e começo do ano que vem, são poucas, mas eu peço que você entre no site do College Board SAT, tá bom?
So they asked if Albion has dorms and if we offer some kind of scholarship for living.
Okay, so regarding our dormitories, yes, like I mentioned, Albion is a residential school, so we do have dormitories here on campus. They really vary in their style. When you're here for your first year, we have two primary first year dorms. They're both co-ed buildings and they're co-ed by floor. So you might have like a men's floor and then a women's floor. They're usually dual occupancy rooms. So two people, you'll have like you and your roommate in your room. And they're usually community style bathrooms in both of those dormitories. As you move up into your upperclassmen years, we have a couple dormitories that are more suite style, which would kind of be like you and your roommate and another set of roommates that share your own bathroom. And so it's not really a community where the whole hall would be using the bathrooms, but just have one that you guys would share, which is kind of nice, a little more private. You do have to clean your own bathroom though. So that's kind of the only downside to that one. Keep that in mind. But it's a little more closer knit community. And then, so there's a couple upperclassmen dorms that have their layouts are kind of like that. As I mentioned, for the men, we do have fraternity houses here. Those are residential buildings for them. The women just have their sorority lodges. They don't actually live together. They've been offered many, many times to have housing together, and they just kind of enjoy the opportunity to be more flexible with that. We have some apartments on campus. So if you want to have your own apartment, there's, you can go in with a couple sets of friends. Sometimes you get your own room in an apartment. Sometimes you still have a roommate. It's kind of up to you guys. Those usually have kitchens in there, so you could actually cook your own meals if you're interested in doing that. If not, you can stay on our meal plan because we have a cafeteria on campus that's pretty good. So it's kind of up to you guys how that goes. And then there's also some houses in town too, because Albion is in a small town. We're kind of close to a lot of bigger cities. We're about an hour drive from Lansing, which is our state capital, Ann Arbor, which is where University of Michigan is, Kalamazoo, some bigger cities in Michigan. But we're very much in a small campus, small town. So they actually own some houses around town too. So there's a lot of different housing options. Scholarships specifically for housing, no, we do not have any scholarships related specifically to our residence halls.
Something new that is happening now is, so I talked about the Global House. We have intentional living communities. It's something new. And it's basically if you have a group of friends who share the same interest for something, you guys can room together. You guys can share a house together. Or for example, I am sharing the Global House with 8 other international students. So we are all international and we are all interested in sharing our cultures. So we all live together. But that's up to us. If we didn't want to do that, we didn't have to. We could live in an apartment. So it's up to us. It's our decision. And it's good to have multiple options. So does Albion College have a mascot? Yes, we have the Brit.
Yeah, he's over here. I don't know if you guys can see him. Oh my computer. There he is. There you go. That's Brit the Briton. He's our mascot. It's Briton. A lot of people don't know what a Briton really is, but it literally means like someone from Great Britain. So yeah, that's our mascot. Colors are purple and gold, and we are the Albion College Britons.
Let me go back to the questions. Oh, I left the Zoom meeting.
Oh no! Oh me. I think Marcel left the Zoom meeting when she closed her laptop, but that's okay. I've still got us in here. I saw a question about 100% scholarships. We do not have any that cover our full cost of tuition, unfortunately. To put a percentage number to it, it really kind of varies depending on the amount of need-based financial aid that you would qualify for. But I would say, generally speaking, we cover, I would say on the low end, about 40% of our total cost of attendance, anywhere up to about 60% of our total cost of attendance. You're welcome.
There's a question here about, the national exam in Brazil to enter the university, ENEM. Do you accept these grades on the application?
I mean, we can accept them, but we don't require them. We really just look for your secondary school, like your high school transcript. Because we know those exams are usually just like one day and don't really have a real reflection of your academic profile as a student. We really like to see your grade trends over time, the kind of courses that you've been taking, what your grades have been like throughout your full time in secondary school.
So about the nationality that is most common here in international students, we have about 40 international students now, and like 8 of them are from Mongolia.
Yeah, we have a small little minority from Mongolia. I'm not sure exactly what the pipeline is there,
Yeah,
but there is quite a few. And then this year, we've got about 35 international students who are trying to get here this year. I know a couple are still running into some student visa snags with the pandemic, but they're really coming from a lot of places. It's been really hard for me to kind of tack down one trend. There is a couple from Mongolia still, of course.
always.
But I've got a student from Belgium. I've got one from, let's see, we're at Nigeria and Ghana and
Russia, India,
yes, yeah,
Afghanistan.
yeah. I think we have one from Pakistan.
Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia. So kind of all over. It's a nice little mixed bag. I think we're caught up on everybody's questions, but let us know if we missed anything for sure.
A new question.
The minimum
here.
TOEFL score that we accept, we look for a 79 or higher on the TOEFL.
Do you accept Duolingo?
Yes, we do accept Duolingo. We're looking for a score of 100 or higher on the new scale, on the 160-point scale. Yes. I love Duolingo. It's made it, especially during the pandemic, it's made it so much easier for people who had all their standardized tests get canceled. That Duolingo was a real lifesaver this year.
Yeah. And for the low-income students as well, it's so much easier because you can do it on your phone.
Yes.
It's so much simpler. So it's great.
FCE. I'm not familiar with that acronym.
It's from Cambridge. First certificate in English from Cambridge.
Mm-hmm. So Cambridge, yeah, we do accept Cambridge courses if they're taken at the advanced level. And I believe it's a C or a grade of C or higher if they're taken at the advanced level. Ordinary levels, no, we don't accept that for proficiency. If they're taken at the advanced level, yes.
Okay. Okay, I guess that's it.
All right. Well, thank you guys again so much for joining us today. It was really wonderful to get to share these tips and tricks with you guys and talk a little bit about Albion. We hope that you guys are staying safe, and we hope that you will learn more about Albion and use our contact information. Reach out to us if you need anything.
Thank you. Obrigada.
Muito obrigada, pessoal. Thank you very much, Sarah, Marcele. Thank you, everyone, for coming over. Muito obrigada. Essa sessão será gravada, estará na nossa página do EducationUSA Brasil no YouTube. Se eu não conseguir colocar hoje, segunda-feira ela vai estar lá, tá bom? E foi um enorme prazer ter vocês aqui. Continuem seguindo as nossas redes sociais no Facebook, no Instagram. E lembrem-se que estudar nos Estados Unidos é muito mais fácil do que vocês imaginam, tá? Um beijo grande para todo mundo. Thank you.